Ready?
I think so.
Okay.
Right. Could be shit. Give me a few goes. This is the first take. When you feel like you just don't belong, sit back, relax, and listen to Headstrong.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we love it. We love it.
Oh,
There we go. Rob, thank you so much for coming on to Headstrong.
cheers, man. Thank you very much for having me.
How you doing?
Good.
A bit fatigued, we were
Li-
talking
yeah, a
about.
little bit unwell. this
So
morning.
we're meeting now the day after your final show
Yeah,
up here in London.
yeah. In the Colours last night, it was a great show, and then because it was the last show, we decided to celebrate a bit. So that's why little a little unwell this morning, but well worth it. Well worth it.
Exactly. I mean, and also I feel like I'm not a musician at all, but at the end of a tour or the end of like a set of shows, you're like, yeah, I deserve this. It's a bit of a celebration.
Yeah, and to be honest, I don't necessarily. There's a lot of stuff that's happened throughout my career that I haven't celebrated. So like, I'm trying to do that more now and kind of like really, take in what's happened and like, let's have a little bit of a celebration just to kind of, mark it.
Well, it's so easy to go straight onto the next thing. Like, oh, it's what
Yeah.
next? What next? Have a pause, have a moment, and go. I just did that. Like,
Yeah.
I've released this album. I've done these shows. Actually, do you know what? Go me.
Yeah,
Do you know what
exactly, 100%. That's
So the album, Happy Sad Songs, came out. How do you reflect on that then? If we're going to take that moment, how's this experience been?
It's kind of mad. I mean, I've been working towards an album for like the last 4 years, so to kind of finally. And I mean, I don't know, you think it's going to be easy. I don't know. Like I did anyway, coming into it. Like it's just, you're just picking it. Because I have loads of songs. And I was like, I'm just picking, 10 or 11 of these songs and putting them on an album. And that's it. But there's a lot more thought behind it because, you have to try and figure out, well, what's the kind of message you want to kind of get across in this album. And then I'm not trying to write specifically. I don't like doing that. So I kind of just write as many songs as I can and pick out the ones that I feel kind of fit the project, and that's what I did. And there's loads of songs that didn't make the album that I think are still big songs, but sure, they'll come out at some point.
You got time.
Yeah, loads of time.
That's nice. What's that process like then? In terms of, okay, let's say you have these songs, you've written them, and ultimately you're quite like as a musician, and when you release music, it's quite raw. But
Yeah.
a lot of musicians, there's a lot of post production. What does that look like for you?
It depends, to be honest. A lot of the times, like my biggest songs have been songs that I've started in my own studio at home, and I've either done them myself or sent them for like additional production. Someone will just put the sprinkly bits on them, and then there's other times where I'll go somewhere and I'll be in with a producer, and we'll make the song there, and they finish it off. But with a label, it's always funny because when I wasn't with the label, I do everything myself. I wouldn't send it to be mixed. I'd just be happy with what the final project sounded like on whatever, like Logic or whatever that I was using, and then send it off and it would be out. But with labels, it's really there's a particular way. So like you produce it and then you have a reference mix from the producer, and then you send it to be mixed, and then we found a producer or found a mix engineer in the end who like nearly all like 99.9% of the time we wouldn't have to say much to him. So that took a bit of time to find someone who kind of gets the sound that I'm going for as well.
I mean, to fully understand the title, Happy Sad Songs, I want to kind of, well, also, I guess I need to understand you. We need more context and kind of build up to what is your debut album, right? So in terms of kind of looking at your childhood and growing up, what was mental health like as a conversation in Ireland when you were growing up?
I mean, I don't think it existed really. Like when I was growing up, and to be fair, I was so lucky because my family in general are fantastic, and they were always supportive, and I was very lucky to have them. But I was always a bit odd, growing up, and I didn't really know what it was. And I think in some ways, for me, I felt like it was kind of good that I didn't know, and like because it didn't get bad until later on in life. But there was some things that the ways I would feel, I didn't really know what it was. I just thought like, well, you know, I kind of realized early on that I was a little bit odd anyway, so maybe that's just me. But I felt like if I had known at a young age that what anxiety was, I feel like I would have fell into it a lot more in some ways. You know what I mean? I feel
Mm.
like I would have. It was nearly better for me being naive and just thinking that like I'm just a little different. And at the time as well, it wasn't that bad. Like I wasn't, you know, going through a whole lot specifically because my family were so amazing that like anytime I felt a bit weird, they always made me feel better. So it was never got to that point where I needed to really kind of question what was going on. And then as I got older, like it's just, you know, you get into the real world and everything starts to kind of hit you in different ways. And I always felt like I was a bit of a burden. You know, I had this all like I don't know where it came from really, but it was just always something in me that I felt like I was like a parasite, and I was like people would be better off if I wasn't around, you know, that kind of thing. And that's kind of where it all started from. And then through music, it really helped me to kind of express myself, and because I never really talked about it, but I found it very easy to write about it. And I didn't even realize I'd be writing about it. I'd just be making a song and lyrics would come out, and then at the end I'd be like, oh wait, that's how I'm feeling, you know. So music really helped me to kind of get through it, and that's what I'm trying to do with my music now, is to like help people that kind of feel the way I do, can't really find the words to talk about it, but if my song can kind of say it for them and you know, make them feel like they're not alone, then happy days.
So if we kind of rewind then to kind of like those feelings, because you didn't know what it was. So when did you first become aware of your own mental health? So you knew that you were experiencing these feelings and emotions, but when were you like, okay, I now kind of know what this is?
Um, it's a good question. I think like when I was like, I mean, when I was a teenager and when I was in like, we call it like secondary school in Ireland, and I think that's when I started to realize, because I used to be super, like I used to be super awkward, still kind of am, like ridiculously shy. I mean, like I wouldn't, I just go completely mute, like I wouldn't talk to anybody, you know. So when I went to secondary school, again, I had a great group of friends, and it was weird because I was also kind of popular as well. But I was popular because I was good at like sport and stuff like that. And my family, I have a big family in the town, so
Mm.
uh, you know, I kind of got like inherited some coolness, you know, and so I didn't get like a hard time in school, thankfully. But I when I started school, I just would not talk to anybody. You know, I had a few select friends or whatever, but and after that, I started to kind of think about, well, like what's going on here, and uh, that's kind of when I started kind of looking into like maybe, you know, different types of things that could be affecting me. And yeah, so kind of started from there. That's when I kind of started to realize what I was feeling wasn't like, you know, I felt like it can't be normal, but it's also okay to be feeling that way. And yeah, tried to figure out what I could do about it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, completely. It makes sense. And, you know, music has always been a part of your life because of your family, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you've, as you say, yes, you inherited the coolness, but you inherited the music genes.
yeah,
I mean, or the music chords, should I say.
yeah.
I mean, is there a song potentially that reminds you vividly of your childhood, or something that was played around the house, something that really sticks with you?
There, yeah, I mean, like I grew up with my dad in a traditional Irish band. Um, like he's been in. So when I was born, he was in a band called Drop the Penny. That's what they were called, and they used to play, you know, all the traditional Irish songs and like tunes and all that kind of stuff. And now he's in a band called the Celtic Cats. But I grew up listening to loads of traditional Irish music, and there was a song by a guy called Christy Moore, and it was called Ordinary Man. And I don't know, something about that kind of, the meaning behind the song is so good as well. It's kind of all about like, you know, spending your whole life working, you know, as hard as you can, and uh, you know, trying to support your family and everything like that. And then your boss who's this like, you know, it's, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah.
for sure. Songwriting and music, you said as already as well, it's a way for you and a lot of people to express their emotions and talk about their feelings. Have you always found that kind of the easiest way to do so? Because was
Yeah, see, when I was in like primary school, I remember I used to love like Blink 182 and Fall Out Boy, and like I was like pop punk was like my thing. And I remember like Linkin Park were just after coming around, and I remember listening to them, and I decided I was going to like learn an instrument, and straight away I knew it was something I was good at. I picked it up like pretty quick, and uh, then when I went,
Did it give you like a confidence?
yeah, 100% made me feel something that I didn't feel before, But
Can you remember the first song you ever wrote?
I can tell you the first song. I don't remember it, but I can tell you the name of the first song.
Okay, go on, hit me.
When I was 8, I was 8 years old, I think I was, and I wrote a song called Dream Girls, and it was, oh God, I can't remember it, but thankfully I can't remember it because it
I know
was,
you're lucky because I was going to ask you to
yeah.
play it.
No, the first proper song I ever wrote was a song called How I Feel Inside, and like I think straight away, like that song really, again, like it did well. I remember entering like competitions and like winning them and stuff like that. But it's a very mental health based song for like I was like 12 at the time. You know what I mean? But
Mm.
it was very deep for a 12-year-old, I think. But yeah,
Do you find songwriting and listening to music therapeutic? Is it kind of a way for you to switch off?
yeah, it's my favorite part about being or doing what I'm doing is making music. It's the best part. It's better than, I mean, I love playing shows. That'd be second best. But like the best part is just, I mean, you just get lost in it, you know what I mean? And you're making something from absolutely nothing, and it could be anything, and it could be terrible, it could be the best song you've ever written. But I love the whole creation process, and it's like, yeah, definitely therapeutic.
So we talk about kind of like looking at mental health then, and indeed well-being from a personal perspective. Like, what were those challenges that you faced or that you kind of have endured in your life? And again, it's like they're changing it always, I imagine now, like, as you've just now you've got this huge success and you're doing shows and stuff. I imagine what anxiety looks like now was very different to 10 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, my lowest point was like just before things blew up, which was it was mad. It's kind of it was in like kind of like 2019, the start of 2020 was when I had one kid at the time. I was married, like I'm still married. I was going to say I was married, still happily married, thankfully. And yeah, I don't know, like I was really struggling, struggling to pay the bills, the rent, just to do things in general. That was for a long time. So I was getting to that point where like I was just like I don't know how much longer I can do this, and it was really eating away at me. And again, that whole thing started to come back of like, oh, you're just like that. I felt like I wasn't good enough for my family, and I was just like a burden. Like I was saying, all that stuff started to kind of really pile on. My own brain, obviously, just throwing all this stuff at me, and I was very, very close to giving up music and just like that. That's it. I can't. I'm not doing it anymore. I felt like I was at 10 years nearly at the time, and I was thinking, if it hasn't happened now, it's never going to happen. Maybe I'm not meant to do this. Maybe I'm not good enough. And um, that's when I wrote "Fake Fine," the first song that the song that got me signed, and it was the first song that I had written that was like truly, truly about me. As in all the other songs I had done were like from personal experience, but like not fact. Do you know what I mean? Whereas "Fake Fine" was very, very what I was feeling, and and then when I released it, I think it just related to so many people that well, I mean, there's a lot of people feeling that way, and that's the thing. I didn't know if there was a lot of people feeling that way. You know what I mean? And that's kind of, as I was saying before, why I'm doing this now is like try and make people who are like me realize that they're not alone, and that there's plenty of people out there feeling the same way, and that is completely fine, and that it will get better. But then, yeah, I released Fake Fine, and yeah, everything changed after that. But like I swear to God, I was like this close to packing it in and saying that was enough.
What, in that time, when you are so close to giving up, what is it that you hold on to? What is it that made you go, I'm not going to? As in, there's these, I know, of course, probably your wife, all that kind of drive and urge to obviously do it because of you're so passionate about it. But what was it that made you kind of go, I've got to hold on?
So there's a mixture of things. Like, it wasn't for me anyway. Like, it was not in me that wanted to keep going, and like, and like that in kind of every sense of the word. You know what I mean? Like that, I just mentally wasn't well. But not like, I was lucky as well. It didn't get to the extreme part, but like it was close to getting bad, and I was just thinking to myself, like, my wife believes in me, as like my mom and dad believe in me, like my brother, my sister. Like, I knew that they would be like, do not give up. You know what I mean? Keep going. So I kind of kept going out of like, I didn't want to disappoint them. I didn't want to disappoint them. And I was thinking, if they still believe in me, like maybe, maybe there's a bit of hope. And then the kind of icing was when, um, like in the middle of all this, when I was going through like a really bad time, I found out that my wife's pregnant again, and that just flicked the switch, and I was like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like, I need to, and I need to kind of, it could have went either way, as in, but it went the best way possible, and it kind of lit a fire underneath me, and I was like, right, we're going to do this, and I'm going to give it absolutely everything for as long as I possibly can right now. And because I was like, I'm going to have 2 kids now, and
Yeah.
like, they don't need me being, a depressed dad around the place, you know what I mean? And I wanted to be the best father I could be. I wanted to be the best husband and son and brother. So yeah, that was kind of the moment that I realized, like, kind of, as I said, relit the fire underneath me to kind of get going again.
So music is like such an important part for you yourself to kind of look after and maintain your mental health. But how important is that support network? You touched on your wife and your family there. How important is that to have that community around you?
Oh, I think for me, it's essential. And I think if I had to get any type of success at a younger age, I think I would have like messed everything up. You know what I mean? So for me now, I think I need to be grounded with like my family, my wife and my kids. And I have a great support network with my mom and dad, my brother and sister as well. So like, if I did not have that, I wouldn't be here, like, basically, like, so without them, you know, they're every bit a part of my success as I am.
Absolutely. What about going that one step further then? What's your relationship like with therapy?
Yeah, like, when I was the first time I went to like therapy was in college. I was in the University of Limerick in Ireland, and I found out that you got free therapy if you're a student, and I was like, I could do with a bit of with a bit of that.
Talking my language.
Yeah, I could do with a bit of that. So that's when I kind of started, and I used to go like fairly regularly there, and I think it really helped me. And I went there for a good while, for as long as I was kind of, as soon as I found out I could do it, I went for as long as I was kind of in college, because there was other stuff going on in my life at the time, and like, I wasn't with my wife at the time when I was in college, and yeah, so there was other things going on that were not great for me, and so I was trying to kind of deal with that, and figure out how to deal with it. And so, I mean, I recommend therapy. I think even if your mental health is perfect, I think it's still good go and talk to someone who, I mean, it's great to talk to your friends and your family, and I'd recommend. I still do that. Like, I mean, my wife is basically my therapist now. My dad, my brother, my sister, and my mom. So like, I got to that point where I feel like it's okay to talk to them about stuff. But when you're kind of younger and you're growing up, I feel like you're worried. Like, even though someone might say you can talk to me about anything, you're kind of worried. Like, I don't know, like, if I can talk to you about this, will you think different of me? Will you use it against me at some point? You're thinking, that's what I was thinking anyway, because it had been done to me before, where I'd like told someone something personal about about what I was feeling, and we got into an argument at one point, and then they started using that against me, and that really like uh, that sent me down a kind of spiral then, because they kind of were telling me that what I was like, when I told them first, they were like, no, that's not.
They
That's
betrayed
not true.
your trust.
Yeah,
Ultimately.
but then they were using it, saying, no, you were right about yourself. Like, you're basically all this, and so that that messed me up altogether. So then I felt like I couldn't trust people. So therapy is a great way of going in. This person, first of all, they're a professional, and they know what they're talking about. But I found it really helped.
What about, you've written about this in your music. What about this kind of taboo that still exists as well about taking medication for mental health? Like, have you ever taken medication for your own mental health?
Like, I've I've taken it for a little while,
Yeah.
but I'm not taking any medication now. But
Yeah.
I definitely think like there's a fine. I think some people genuinely have a chemical imbalance, and I feel like I think it takes a bit of time to figure out what medication suits you because there is a lot of
Yeah.
and there's a lots of side effects and stuff depending on what you're taking. But like I know people who have taken medication and it's completely changed their life. You know what I mean? And it doesn't mean you still don't have stuff to work on. It's not a
It's
magic
not a
fix.
magic
Like
pill, is
no,
it? No.
no. It just helps. You know what I
It's
mean?
this kind of, there's just this public stigma of medication, therapy, when actually you're doing everything in your own best interest to
Yeah,
help
yeah,
you.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And I don't see it as a bad thing at all. You know what I mean? As I said, like I know a lot
Yeah.
of people I've took it myself, and I feel like it just depends on. And the best thing about it is that you're looking for help. That's like number one. Like if
Yeah.
you're going out and
That,
you're
taking
trying,
that first step
yeah,
is the
100%.
most difficult, but
Yeah,
my God, you're going to help yourself.
100%. Like
Yeah.
you're only going to feel better.
And what else do you do then to look after your mental health? You play music, you write songs. What else do you do though? Family
Yeah,
clearly is a huge thing.
yeah. I just spend an awful lot of time with my family. We go off, kind of. I don't mean like on holidays, but we just go out of the house and do stuff as much as we can, and try and give them like the best life, or make sure they have as much fun as possible, and that gives me an awful lot of joy. But apart from that, like I don't necessarily. Well, I tell you what I love doing is like when the kids go to bed and just sitting on the couch with my wife, watching Bridgerton or something. Like, you know what I mean? Anything, like could be whatever,
Yeah.
and just eating like absolute junk food, and like that. I love doing that. That's
Perfect.
definitely like I look forward to that. And like most people might think that that's boring, but like it's probably one of the best parts of my day. So that's definitely. But apart from that, I am music. Like music is my job, my hobby. It's my whole life. And I find it hard. Like if I don't do music for a while, so say I'm taking a break or going on holidays, like after the first day, I'm like, oh God, I need to make something, or I need to be productive. You know what I mean? It's very hard to kind of, because it is my whole life, it's very hard to take a break from it.
I've got to say, we've touched on it already, but Fake Fine, the song that ultimately got you signed, right? I'm a massive fan of.
Thank you so much.
And this is the start. That was like kind of literally the pinnacle and start of your
Yeah.
success, right? So I want to know, well, we've actually talked about that kind of that influence of the tune, but there's a line in it that I really like. It's so much easier to lie, which is a really interesting line in that track. Do you think we're in this kind of world where we're too stuck and busy people pleasing?
Oh yeah, I'm a big people pleaser, and it's something that I'm trying to like to stop doing. But yeah, like as I was saying in the song, like it is like it's so much easier to lie about how you're feeling or what you want to say than it is to just tell the truth, because I think everyone's so afraid of, like, as you said, you don't want to be upsetting anyone, and you want everyone to like you. And I think that's something that people need to stop doing. You know what I mean? If someone's going to like you, they're going to like you. You don't need to be doing everything they want or pleasing them in every way possible. You just have to be yourself, and if they don't like you, they weren't meant to be around. You know what I mean? So, but it's very tough. Easier said than done.
Yeah,
I
for
still find
sure.
myself doing it.
What's your experience like with fake friends then? Because you talk about it in this song and, on your socials and stuff like that. Like, what is your experience with fake friends? It's easier said than done to rip off the Band-Aid and get rid of them,
I've been very lucky. Like I've had the same group of friends that I've had, because like I'm so bad at making friends as an adult. I don't know what I'm just like. I'll have to like know someone, or spend time with someone for like years before I'd be like, oh, they're my friend now.
Yeah.
But when you're younger, it was really easy, and so I still have the same group of friends, and they're all amazing. I've only had a couple of experiences with like people that, but like never anything too bad though. You know what I mean? I feel like anything that wasn't meant to be kind of just fizzled away naturally. Like I don't necessarily have any bad words to say about people, but like you do have some people who will try and maybe lead you down a path that you're not really comfortable with. You know what I mean? And it's better to rip that band-aid off. And I was lucky enough to, like, as I said, there was never any big deal.
Yeah.
And it was very, anything that ended was very natural. You know what I mean? Which was great.
Right. Next to you is your uke, which you've brought in. And I'm hoping that if you're happy to play a part of or some of a song that is from the uke. But can you say what you said to me before we were recording?
Yeah, so it's I say this at every show that this is the world's saddest song and the world's happiest instrument. But yeah, it's a song that on the album. It wasn't a single, but it's just now you'll hear it is very it's intense, but it sounds very happy. So yeah, will I give it a go?
Please
Yeah.
do.
It's
When
called
you're ready.
Yeah, it's called I'm Done, and my voice is a bit weird, so hopefully it comes out alright. I don't wanna die, I just never wanna wake up. Men don't cry, so I hide behind this makeup. Say everything's alright when the truth is buried inside. Yeah, I wanna let go, yeah, I wanna move on, but the pain just grows. Happiness an illusion. See, everything is great with the fakest smile hanging out of my face. I'm done, dun 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 dun. I'm done.
Dude, fantastic.
Man, my voice is so it's so wrecked.
It's adding to the atmosphere.
Yeah.
No,
But,
mate, that's so good. Really nice. When was the last time you cried?
When I cry, I think what was I watching? I was watching something. I was watching a video of my a girl that I know. She's a singer as well, and an artist on it. Like she's been trying to do like stuff in music for a long time, and she had a big break like a while ago, and things didn't work out. And she's such a nice girl. I've worked with her in the past as well. And she went on to like America's Got Talent. She was on the recent an episode like last Tuesday or something.
Awesome.
And I watched the episode like, and I was crying at the end of it because I was so like, I was just so happy for her. You know what I mean? And as well, the song is fierce, like sad and kind of hits you in the core. But when I was watching it, like I had tears in my eyes after because I was like a mixture between the song being sad and just like I know what it's like to be in a position where you're really trying to make it happen again. Like, and yeah, I know that's silly, but yeah,
No, that's not. I don't think it is at all.
Yeah.
I mean, there's such a stigma on, I mean, crying in general, but particularly men crying and showing emotion and showing vulnerability.
Yeah,
nowadays.
I feel like, and I mean, I am. It depends on the situation. Like, I'm getting a lot better, but it's not. It wasn't easy. Like for a long time, I would never cry in front of somebody. I think me and my wife were together like 5 years before she saw me cry, and it was crying because my cat got hit by a car. Like I was like that, you know what I mean? But I couldn't hold it in like at that stage. But like, other than like, so it took me a long time to kind of just be comfortable, even around my wife, just to, you know, and even at that, I don't think I don't know if all guys have it, but I definitely have something in me that like if I'm in public and something's after happening or I feel like my body just won't do it, you know, it won't come out, and I feel like that's not healthy either. Like, you know, it's good to just like no one cares. I mean, maybe there might be like I don't know if there's older generations that might find it like not you're not manly if you cry, but I feel like all the generations down are like haven't a problem with it at all. So
yeah, definitely.
I think we're moving in the right direction.
For sure. There's two huge topics that I want to touch on. The first of which is being alcohol. What's your relationship like with alcohol? And, you know, when you think about the industry that you're in, it's an easy potential spiral of
100%.
kind of, you know, ultimately it's going to always be there, as are potentially more things than that. But like, what's that always like being with you, particularly when you're at your lowest?
Yeah, I mean, like I wouldn't say like I went through times like I was saying when I had that really bad, when I was probably my lowest time, as I was saying back in kind of 19 in 2019 or 2020, when especially when we went into lockdown as well, like I was like kind of drinking every day, and it definitely wasn't good for me. But it was like, I mean, why does anyone kind of go to drink? You're trying to fix something, or you're trying to temporarily, yeah, exactly. You're trying to numb something, and but luckily enough, I kind of got myself out of it. And that, like, I don't really have a problem with drinking, which is great. Because like I say, I'm on tour, like I might have a few drinks at the shows. Like last night, I had probably too many drinks, but you know, I'll go back home now and I won't drink again for either because I don't really go out, you know. So when I'm on tour, it's kind of like me going out every now and again. But I wouldn't be absolutely going insane.
You got to be a responsible dad.
Exactly, but I go home now. Probably won't drink again for like another month or two, and then
Nice.
yeah.
Well, that's good. So like, but you got to find that balance, right? This
Yeah.
world is so, well, particularly UK, Ireland as well.
Oh,
like
yeah.
we're so built up on this culture of drinking, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's something in us, isn't it? Like, because we all love a few pints. Like I don't know what it is about it. Like it's the thought of it. It just gets you excited or something. But yeah, you need to be careful and anyway, I think for me, I really got like a good handle on it now. Like, and I don't feel like I need to drink, but I do enjoy going out for drinks, you know. But I'm not at home, kind of sitting there going like, oh, I'd love, you know, I enjoy the social aspect of drinking.
Exactly.
You know,
It brings people together, but then why is it that it's that thing that brings us together?
Yeah.
You should be wanting to see your pals anyway.
Exactly.
You know, because I know a lot of people that will only ever see their friends when they're drinking.
Yeah, 100%.
Can you do that without having a drink? I wonder.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not you personally, but I'm just saying as a part of a conversation to other people, what is that like without having a drink?
Yeah, I feel like it's a lad thing, it's a guy thing, because women meet up all the time, you know, for whatever it is, a coffee or like, you know. But I think with lads, it's like, again, I think it's like this, like, I don't know, some sort of a stigma around it. Like it feels that, you know, men go to the pub and drink, and you know, we don't talk, or all, you know, that kind of stuff, or you talk about like football or whatever, like, you know. But I don't know what it is. I mean, like it's very rare that I even meet up with my friends if we're not drinking.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel like it's an excuse to like, because you know I have kids, and not all my friends have kids. I have some of my friends have kids, but you know, you mightn't have time to be meeting up during the day, and then if you're meeting up in the evening time, yeah, it's just, I feel like, I don't know, there's something, you nearly feel like it's weird if you're not drinking, you know. So yeah, I and it's not to say I haven't met up with friends and had a coffee.
No,
but
of course.
it's definitely not a regular thing. I think it should be, though. Definitely should be.
This other big, huge conversation, and something that you are incredibly grateful for and thankful for, is social media.
Yeah.
Because that is ultimately somewhere where you have managed to accelerate your career to a huge following, which is awesome. And that even happened before you were, or during the process of being signed, right? You were like maximizing TikTok.
Yeah.
And what is it now, 3+ mil?
Yeah, 3.2, I think.
It's absolutely incredible. Like, it's insane. What was that plan then? I know that you were in that time of, should I give up, should I not? What was it about social media that you were just like, right, I'm going to keep doing this part?
So TikTok was fairly new at the time, or fairly fresh. Like, I mean, there was loads of people on it, but like it was kind of just at the start. Like, I don't think artists realized how essential it was going to be. And I was thinking to myself, loads of artists didn't want to go near, you know, and I understand why, but they were like, I don't want to kind of, because, you know, to be honest, you shouldn't have to be doing that kind of stuff. Really, like, I'm like, as I said, I'm delighted I get it, and I enjoy doing it, but you know, some people don't, and they shouldn't kind of have to do it if they don't want it. But you know, you kind of have no choice anymore. But my manager told me about TikTok, that it was this new thing, and I was like, all right, I'll check it out. I went on to, hadn't a clue. I was like, is it just people dancing? What is going on here? And I did videos of me singing, and that really took off. And then I remember I used to do these looped versions of songs, you know. And I did a cover of a song, and it blew up. And then I was like, okay, this is working. So I did a video every day for like 2 months before Fake Fine came out, and it used to take me like 4 or 6 hours to do these videos, a 1-minute video.
Yeah.
But it paid off.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I just decided I was going to give it everything, and I also felt like I enjoyed the validation of like, oh my god, maybe I am good. Like
being acknowledged finally.
Yeah. And I know that's not overly healthy either, but I think I needed it at the time. I needed other people to kind of think I was good, you know, so I could eventually believe in myself, you know.
Social media is one of those places where there is that double-edged sword, though. You know, there's such positivity in some ways, and then there's this enormous potential negativity, trolling and anonymous profiles and all this jazz. And I know that you may well not have experienced that, but what is your relationship like with social media? How do you control how much time you spend on things, doing things, and spending on it?
It took me a while to get a hang of it, because like I'm lucky enough now, to be fair, that I get some hate. I don't get a lot. I'm very lucky that way, but whatever I do get, I usually find it funny. Like, I don't, like, nothing really gets to me at all. The only thing that gets to me is like you know, you want every video to do well. It's not even other people, it's on yourself, you know what I mean? And like, it took me a while to get used to the fact that like, if a video doesn't do well, it's not the end of the world, you know, and you move on to the next one. But in terms of, yeah, people and getting hate and stuff like that, it just doesn't bother me. But it took me a while to kind of figure out how much time I need to be spending on, you know, because being an artist, you're kind of, your job is kind of 24/7, and you know, you're trying to comment back to everybody, because I want, like, it's same with the shows. I want everybody to feel like, look, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you watching my videos, liking my videos, commenting, sharing, whatever. And I like to kind of get back to as many as I can, because I feel like it's important, you know.
Yeah, engagement.
Yeah, and same with the shows. As I said, I wait around. I go straight after the show. I go into the green room, dry myself off because I'm usually absolutely soaking, and then I come back out and I'll stay there for as long as until the venue kicks me out. Like, you know, I'll be there with everyone chatting, and I find, because I would love that, you know what I mean? If I was going to a concert, I would love if the artist would stick around and let me meet him. So I feel like I want to make a difference to people, you know, and I want people to be acknowledged, and you know, also, you know, let them know that, like, as I said before, that they're not alone, and that, you know, like, if they're going through stuff, that eventually does get better, and you just have to keep going.
So your name is in the kind of the same conversations as Keen de Crow, Niall Horan, your fellow compatriots. What's your biggest pinch me moment today?
Fake Fine went, well, there's a few things. Fake Fine went double platinum in Ireland there just last week, and I think it hasn't really hit me yet either, but it was kind of like, geez, if I had to tell myself like 5 years ago that I was going to have a song go double platinum, I would have been like, you're mad. You know what I mean? That's crazy. And the first kind of pinch me moment though was after we came out of lockdown, because everything seemed like a video game. Like, didn't seem real. Everything was online, so I didn't know if these people were actually real. And I was playing a show up in Guidor, which is like the very top of Ireland, and there was a tent with maybe like, I think it was 4,000 people in it. It was one of my first gigs I would have been playing to like actually real people, because other than that it was like recorded or whatever. And I got out there and I played Fake Fine, and the whole crowd sang it, and I was like, it was kind of, you know, that was such a big moment for me. I was like, I couldn't believe that like all these people knew my song. It just didn't feel real. It still doesn't, like, you know, it's very hard to kind of comprehend what that means. And but yeah, that was definitely a great moment.
I ask this to every artist that comes on, and musician. Who would you most like to collab with if you had the choice, and why?
There's a guy called John Bellion. He's kind of a producer, songwriter, and artist as well. I'd be very nervous to collab, because I know, like, you know, when you look at someone and they're so good, and what they make is like, you know, next level. Like, I'd be so nervous to work with him, but I'd love to do it, because he's kind of a game changer, like, in my eyes anyway.
Rob, I've really enjoyed talking to you, but I ask this question to everybody. What does the word headstrong mean to you?
Kind of having a good sense of who you are, and like, you know, if you believe in something like that, you're going to stick with it. You're not going to let anyone kind of change your mind, you know, and that you kind of know what your values are. That's what I think anyway.
Love it. I mean, I love the fact that everyone brings their own interpretation to it, because, you know, ultimately it has this negative connotation, really.
Yeah.
But then actually, when you break it down, that's not what I think it is at all. Hence, I've adopted it, you know. So
same though. I'd feel the same. To me, it feels like a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. Rob, thank you so much for coming in.
It took me way too long to do
Appreciate it so much.
Cheers, man.
Thank you so much. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And
same, man. Thank you very much. Yeah.
There you go. That's a wrap.